Winter, 1944. In the numbing cold, a man with icy eyes peers through snow and fog. A German tank crew patiently waits out the snowfall so that they may strike the opposing Americans. Nearby, the Americans are succumbing to the same numbing cold. Fox Company appears done for. One is already dead from the last go-around with the Germans. It is then one terrified, horrified G.I. Joe proposes that Fox Company surrender. A few hours earlier, Paris, HQ of the Supreme Allied Commander. A mummified mockery of a man strides into the office. He's informed the Germans are attempting a vital gamble in the Battle of the Bulge. Eisenhower further informs of a counterattack, but that attack would take 3, maybe 4, days to reach Saint-Just, where the critical pivot of the defensive line exists. Hours later, into the white, smothering fog, a lone figure jumps into a rendezvous with destiny. He lands, greeted by a Hephaestus hot bullet mere inches from penetrating his heart. The new arrival introduces himself with the code name Olive Oil. However, the new arrival joined at the wrong time. It's slaughter or surrender. However, if one man can push a whole army into danger, then one man can pull it out. The mysterious new arrival flashes back to a sun-dappled day in the heartland. A father instructs his 2 sons in the finer points of marksmanship. The blond son misses his target. He blames the miss on the fact he is not as old and as big as his brother. That brother Harry then bullies his little brother to hammer home the point. Their father says his blond son deserved the attack upon him. He wasn't alert. The father walks with his boys and rhapsodizes how a soldier is a war's ultimate weapon. At home, the father relates the family's heritage. Various ancestors fought in each of America's better-known wars. The first fought in the Revolution, another in the War of 1812. Then 2 family members fought on opposing sides in the Civil War. Well, one of those 2 is worthy of being mentioned, and another ancestor charged up San Juan Hill. Finally, another thwarted the enemy at Chateau Thierry during World War I. The father warns his blond son that the boy will never carry on that so-called tradition. But the father believes his favorite son, however, will. The father thinks Harry will be the greatest soldier of them all. Does anyone else think the father is crazy as batshit? Years later, in a Philippines foxhole, Harry condescends to his brother that the war is too big for him. The blonde brother claps back that the war is too big for any one man, even Harry. The older brother concedes the point might be true, but one man in the right place at the right time can change a lot, even a war. And then a Japanese grenade tumbles into view. Harry sacrifices himself to save his little brother. The next hours were only dimly remembered by the younger brother. Sometimes a boy becomes a man. Here, a boy became an avenging killer angel. Days of agony and delirium later, he awoke with a remade face and a reborn soul. Years follow. The son whom the father never believed became the most legendary soldier of them all. Some said he was a ghost. Others claimed he was a corpse risen from a mass grave. Others thought him immortal. The unknown soldier. Now, in a snowy maelstrom, he again faces the impossible. The Americans are demoralized and ready to crack. Then the mysterious newly arrived corporal vanishes. They assume he chose desertion over death. Perhaps he was a Nazi after all. In reality, the mystery man ventures into the boarded-up streets of Saint-Just. He seeks a collaborator named Marcel Moreau. The collaborator witnesses the mystery man break down his door for an ensuing shootout. Moreau is gassed unconscious. The unknown soldier then assumes his identity as he has assumed so many before. Soon, the disguise allows our hero to infiltrate the local German entrenchment. As Moreau, the unknown soldier, claims he can lead the Germans through the forest via a secret, undefended path. Meanwhile, the Americans hear the roar of German tanks. The soldiers think they've had it. However, what the Americans hear is not their death, but rather the enemy's. The German tanks crash through a frozen swamp, sinking under their titanic weight. Before they sink, the tanks train their cannons upon the unknown soldier. The hero vanishes only for the Americans to appear. As the anonymous corporal, he leads the Americans to the swamp's edge. Although a two-striper, his words command respect. A bizarre battle ensues. David versus Goliath. And like Goliath, the Germans are held down by their inability, slowed by their weight, and overcome by overconfidence. One American is hit. It is then the unknown soldier picks up the bazooka and calls for better cover. He is then loaded. As it happens, the German commander orders his tank crew to drive full speed out of the icy water. And do it, Schnell! Schnell! Successfully, the lead tank breaks from the swamp as the bazooka runs out of rockets. Fox Company has no choice but to charge fast and charge hard over the cracking icy crust. The German commander vows to eradicate them all. A grenade is tossed and into the tank it goes. And boom. Afterward, silence, and then voices of elation. But the mysterious corporal has vanished. The day following, the unknown soldier, looking very Dick Tracy I might add, meets with Eisenhower. The counterattack will ensue uninhibited. Ike praises the unknown soldier as a miracle worker. The hero claims he was just one man in the right place at the right time. All the while others were brave men who died in a frozen hell before their time. How about we hope the unknown soldier gets the help he needs? His father was a crackpot redneck. Really. I'm Cave Carson. Join me again as I remember DC's forgotten heroes.